So, hello everyone. I don't know if you remember, I have spoken in the past. I'm an accountant here at SMA, but as I like to say, accountant by day, master crafter by night. So, I was given the opportunity to work with Tom Paisley, who is absolutely amazing, our art director here, to create something, kind of winter themed and special to send out to some of our clients, because normally we do send them something a little more handmade, but we were experiencing a little bit of challenges this year. So I want to go over card because this was my first time for one, creating a piece of art with somebody across the country. I'm in California, Tom's in Alabama, and two, creating something and having the total unique opportunity to have a total professional graphic artist add some elements to my card. So I think we created something really great, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys today. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And
I'm Tom. I'm not a drunk person who's going to be talking over her. I'll be adding to what I
yes, and I really want Tom to jump in here as much as possible, because this is really a collaborative effort, and I think you guys are going to really like what we ended up coming up with. So to kind of start this off, Tom and I had initial talks, and once again, it was just great to talk with another artist. So these are two examples of previous Christmas cards that I've done. We wanted to capture, how do we really make sure that we capture as much texture as we can on this 2D image that we're going to be sending out to clients, whereas normally, you might notice, Santa's hat is actually a little fur ball. So just things like that, that's a little bit easier to create when you're, working with physical paper and elements. So this is just to kind of give you an idea of what we showed. Tom liked the idea, just to touch base on the different textures of the papers that went together. So just to give you an idea of the initial talks. So this was our inspiration for this year's card, and there will be a big reveal at the end. So on the left, I actually drew a lot of inspiration from this piece of paper. And what I liked about this piece of paper is that I get the idea of this winter forest, but there's also a lot of different elements in each of the trees. This looks like a how do you say, like a pitch patch, different trees gotten for different forests, but they look great together. And so, on the picture on the right was, how are we actually going to do this? And so I found these photos are actually online from Christina Warner Design, and it was to give the idea of a strong, so we all discussed this in our creative process, a strong triangle with different, how to create as much texture in the simple shape as we could. So I did that with elements of alcohol ink, which you will see later. So these are strong trees that were, have a lot of texture in them through this natural, just movement of the alcohol, and, it's a very water-like texture. So you'll see that later. This was kind of my initial, this is a camera photo of my initial picture that I sent over to Tom. So, oh, yes, Tom?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. So this was kind of just a camera photo. So I'm not really used to having to digitize my cards. So I sent a camera photo over to Tom. So you can see an example of the trees here with that alcohol ink. I have added, physical little elements so that you can, kind of get the idea of that fun winter theme and see the texture. The hill on the right is iridescent with kind of a plasticky finish, and the background here was created with the idea of this is 2 layers of ink kind of to create that stormy sky, and that is real enamel dots to create the little snow. So that's just kind of to go over the creative process and how we actually went about that. So my photo, I'm actually a terrible iPhone, shout out to Al Unger, terrible with taking photos on my camera. So I went ahead and did a scan for Tom and sent that over. So this is where we kind of really start getting a rough layout of where it's going and kind of the base art.
Yeah, and this one, one of the things I had to start doing in the production process of it was to be a little bit of a cop, to say, hey, we need a 1080 by 1920 version of this. So we had to, without having to cycle backwards a little bit. You know, we had to get all the technical things right at first that we wanted, and then design to that. As most of you know from working on proposals, you figure out your technical issues for, and then you design to so you don't have any problems down the road.
And so this is an idea of that. So once I had that image, we actually had to strip it. And we did it layer by layer. So here's an example of the base layer that was sent to Tom. And that's another thing that I learned through this process. Once again, it's my first time watching someone kind of digitize this, is that just in the same way that I have to create a layer and layer of this physical card to make sure the visual eye sees everything. Once it's 2D, Tom has to do that as well. So he took my background, he took the trees.
Yeah, no glue, Susanna, no glue.
Yeah, so, and yeah, I could use glue. I didn't make it in a way that had to be taken apart. So we have now these, you know, actual tree elements that Tom did physically take out of the card, cut out so that he can actually play with it and see, you know, what he can create from there. And I think from there, you can kind of see it really comes to life. So Tom took that card that I have made, he took my trees, and now I have a forest. So he was able to take, and so just great collaborative effort. This was our first kind of final draft. You'll see the next one in just a moment. So we just really focused on, of course, the SMA logo, beautiful there, and the matching happy holidays. So we want, and Tom had actually mentioned this, I think this is a great idea. I hope when you look at this image, you get the idea of a shadow box. I want you to get the idea of a foreground and a background. I want you to see that the winter images and the, you know, see you're looking past the mountain and you can see that beautiful winter forest decorated past you. We also, you know, wanted this to look like a hodgepodge of different images. So that little town in the middle is actually a little town that we got a little bit of graphic art. And so Tom was able, you know, after a little bit of conversation, to tweak it even more. And so here is our holiday card that will be going out to the clients this year. We added a little bit of more handmade fill on the, you know, happy holidays to make it look more stamped. That was Tom's idea. He added this beautiful, you know, we thought that the town deserved its own tree. So it has this beautiful sequin kind of mosaic. If you really zoom in, you can actually see that is one of the trees on the left that Tom has texturized in a mosaic way to make it look like its own tree for the town. So, you know, we put a lot of thought into this, you guys, and I hope you can see, you know, the different layers, and I hope it gives you the idea of that beautiful winter image, and I hope you do. And happy holidays from SMA. Anything else you want to add, Tom?
Yeah, well, I've done some cards in the past for SMA. You know, the problem with doing things digitally is a lot of times they look digital. And that's one thing that, you know, is so good about how Suzanna does her cards, is that she brings a handmade and sort of almost randomness to it that really gives it a character. And I wanted to preserve that. That's, you know, and there's only some, you know, certain ways you can do that. You can't actually physically recreate the textures on the things, but you can try to make them look like that and try to create that dimension. And I think those are the things we could have spent a lot more time and made a card just taking a picture of it or a scan or something and sent that. But we wanted to, you know, make this a shorter process, have her, you know, come up with a direction that we're going and preserve those ideas and exploit, you know, the things that are really cool that she does. And yeah, I think we did that.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Susanna and Tom. It's just incredible work. Very, very creative. And